Okay, so this unit I think, is a really, really exciting unit because we're going to be looking at a bit of programming using the BBC Microbit. Okay, it's free to all Year 7, so you guys, if you're in Year 7, have got a free one to play with. You can use it at home as well, but you need to obviously bring it in for lessons. So we're just going to set up our first program. Okay, we will have talked in lesson about what it is, what it looks like, and what it does. But now we're going to create our first program. So we need to go to the website, www.microbit.co.uk. There's a link on Allvi as well for that. And then we're going to go create code. We're not going to worry about signing in or saving code today. We're just going to worry about creating our first program. So we're going to go create code. When you're in create code, you get 4 different options. Okay, the two kind of quickest and easiest ones to do are touch develop, which is sort of in between a sort of drag and drop block sort of Scratch type programming language and a full programming language, and Microsoft Block Editor, which is basically their version of Scratch for the Microbit. These two, JavaScript and Python, we will be touching later on, but they are full programming languages, although the JavaScript Code Kingdom one does use some drag and drop. So we're going to go on to a new project. I'm going to use Block Editor because you're used to Scratch, so this should be straightforward. In this window, we get a couple of things. So we have a section up here where we can run it. We have routes down the side with different points, and again, like Scratch, sorry, I forgot there for a minute. Like Scratch, you drag them on and you link them together. So if I wanted something like this, I could just drag it on. If I wanted that, I could drag it on. I can then link bits together. If I can find anything that links to that one, I can link bits together if I want to. I don't want to do any of that, so I'm going to drag this down to the bin to get rid of it. And then the last bit is on the right hand side. We have a preview. We've got buttons we can click. We've got what the LEDs will do. We've got these sections which we can click as well. You can change the theme color if you really want to. It's not particularly exciting there. And if we want to press A and B buttons together, we click that button. So in this first script, we're just going to worry about lighting up some LEDs to show at the initial for our first or last name. It's up to you which one you will do. But that's all we want to do to start with. We're just going to put the lights on here, so these different lights, and then we're going to run it. And the major reason for this is for you to start getting used to the editor and for seeing how you can connect your Microbit into your computer. So we're just going to go to Basic, and we're just going to drag on Show LEDs. And then on here, if I tick any of these boxes, that LED will turn on. If I want to check what it's going to look like, I press Run. When I press Run, these LEDs come on. So, because my name is Mr. Harvey, I am going to put a H onto there. So when I do my H, I'm going to run it. And there we go, that's what it's going to look like on the Microbit. It's going to look like a H. So the next stage is to actually get that onto your BBC Microbit. So to do that, we need to compile it. In a programming language, once you've written it in the language, you have to use something called a compiler, which converts it into code or a file that the kind of computer can read, in this case, the Microbit. So I am going to compile it. Notice with mine, I am using Google Chrome. You might be using a different browser. So when I click compile, it says your .hex file is ready. Drag and drop it onto your BBC Microbit device, and then it's being careful there. So I'm going to click off of that, and mine has appeared down here. And if I go show in folder, there it is. That is my Microbit astounding script -2.hex. I'd already exported one, which I'm going to delete, but my hex file is there. So what we now need to do is we need to connect our Microbit. So we can now we've got our Microbit, we can connect it. And the 2 bits you'll need for your Microbit is your main actual Microbit, okay, and your USB cable. So your main Microbit, you have to remember, be very careful with it. because you only really want to hold the corners. You don't want to be touching any of the electrical items, particularly the things that are behind. Okay, you only want to be touching the corners. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the smaller end, and we're going to plug it into this section here on the back. Okay, so I will just do that. I'm getting that and I'm plugging it in. It might not go in one way. If it doesn't fit in one way, flip it over, try and fit it in the other way, and there we go. Okay, I have got my microbit connected. So now we need to take the other side, and sorry I'm doing this one-handed whilst holding a camera so it's a bit hard, the USB side, and we need to plug that into our computer. So my computer is down here. I'm going to plug that into my computer, and now my microbit is connected, and we can see that by the lights, and there's some flashing lights on there to say, oh, this is connected. Okay, it says hello, and flashes about a bit. So once we've done that, we know that it is connected. So now we need to get our file onto our microbit. So we're going to open up the folder with the file in. You should notice on your right hand side here there is one that says microbit. What I can do is just click and hold and drag that file onto the one that says microbit, and it will start copying it across to the microbit. Okay, sometimes takes a little bit while. If you click on microbit, when it comes back, it'll disappear and reappear. That's because it's rebooting. But when you click on the microbit again, you should notice that is there. It says details, it says microbit, there's a link to the website, but the file is not actually there. It's not on the microbit. Actually, it is on the microbit. It just looks like it's not on the microbit. Okay, it is there, but you'll only check whether it's there if you run the program on the actual microbit. So you need to go and look at the microbit and see if the program is running. So we go back to the microbit, and if we lift it up, there you can see on my microbit is the H for Harvey in my name, and that's it done. We've made our first small little program on the BBC microbit, and we've copied it across. Now if you wanted to take this with you, you would have to attach into here the battery pack. Okay, and you could actually walk around with your letter being displayed. You might want to attach that to your clothes or something like that. But there are plenty of other little things that we can do, and more exciting, advanced things to do. But at the moment, we've done the first stage. We've made a program, and we've copied it over to the microbit, and we've run it.